The methods of classifications are the taxonomical process of providing a systematic position to organisms by using taxonomical hierarchy given by Carlos von Linnaeus. In last class, we discussed about the taxonomical categories, the 7 taxonomical categories, the respective definitions and examples, all we discussed in last class. From kingdom to species, all we discussed in last class. Okay. Now, by using these 7 obligatory categories, how to provide a systematic position to an organism, that we will discuss. So, according to your syllabus, they mention the systematic positions are a classification of some organisms. For example, first I am going to give you the well-known one, that is man, Homo sapiens. So in this Homo sapiens, how to classify? As already I mentioned, so always the taxonomical categories are in descending order. We have to arrange them. We have to arrange the taxonomical categories in descending order. So first we have to start with the kingdom, and we'll move up to species. Okay. So here man is the common name. So here you will write common name, right? After common name, scientific name, name. In that, what is species name? Species. Next, genus. Species, genus, family, order, class, and here phylum or division, phylum or division. At last you may notice here last kingdom. This last one, which may be not visible, so remember that as a kingdom. So total 7 obligatory categories. Here 7 obligatory categories are there. Once again, so common name, scientific name, here species name, and followed by genus, family, order, class, phylum, and last kingdom. So that you should notice here. Now we will discuss the classification of some organisms. Here the common name man. What is the scientific name? Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens. According to Linnaeus binomial nomenclature, Homo sapiens is a scientific name. And here, if you move from species to kingdom, you may confuse, because we have to arrange all the taxonomical categories in descending orders. Always we should arrange them as in descending order. So now we will observe what is the kingdom of man. The kingdom of man is Animalia. You all know that man belongs to kingdom Animalia. And after that, what is the phylum? Man belongs to phylum Chordata. So like this, we'll divide now. Okay. So man belongs to phylum Chordata. So phylum Chordata. Next class, Mammalia. Class Mammalia. So here space is not sufficient. Don't confuse. I am writing here. Observe. So human being belongs to kingdom Animalia. You may write in the form of table, or you may write as I am writing like here. So kingdom is Animalia, and after that phylum. Human belongs to phylum Chordata. Next, after that, human belongs to which class? Human belongs to class Mammalia. Human belongs to class Mammalia. And after that, order. To which order human belongs? Human belongs to order Primata. Next to order, what is a family? So family here, Hominidae. The family of human being is Hominidae. Next, you are all know that what is genus and what is species, the scientific name itself. So the genus here is Homo, and the species is Sapiens. Homo and Sapiens. So that is the classification, or providing a systematic position to man in the kingdom Animalia. Okay, it is the systematic position of man in kingdom Animalia according to hierarchy of classification or taxonomical hierarchy given by Linnaeus. We have to use at least 7 obligatory categories to classify every living organism. You may use some intermediate categories here, but even but this seven you must have to use, right? Kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, order Primata, family Hominidae, genus Homo, and species Sapiens. Okay, so that is about the classification of Homo sapiens. You may write in the form of a table or a tabular form. You will write like this. So, will write common names, scientific names, species, genus, family, like that you will write. But here the space is not sufficient, so I am writing in vertical manner. But you will write in the form of a table, which is there in your textbook also. Okay, so follow that. Next, after completion of man, that is Homo sapien, the next animal according to your syllabus, that is Musca domestica. Musca domestica is the scientific name. The common name is housefly. Common name housefly. Common name housefly. The scientific name of this is Musca domestica. Whenever you will write scientific names, what is the important rule you have to follow? You have to underline that 2 scientific words, genus and species name separately, generic and specific epithet separately. That you have to remember. So Musca domestica, it is also animal. You all know that. So what is a kingdom? It belongs to kingdom Animalia. There is no doubt. All animals belong to kingdom Animalia. And after kingdom, what is the phylum? It is an insect. All insects belongs to the largest phylum in kingdom Animalia, that is Arthropoda. It belongs to the largest phylum in kingdom Animalia. More than 70% of animals belongs to which phylum? Arthropoda. So Arthropoda is the largest phylum in kingdom Animalia. Musca domestica belongs to phylum Arthropoda. And after that, what is the class? Already I said Insecta. It belongs to the largest class in kingdom Animalia. In kingdom Animalia, the largest phylum is Arthropoda, and the largest class is Insecta or Hexapoda. Insecta, it belongs to class Insecta or Hexapoda based on number of appendages. How many appendages or how many legs? For your convenience, I am giving the word legs. So how many legs are there in this animal? 6 pairs. Sorry, 6 or 3 pairs are there. Hexapoda. Hexa means 6. Poda right? Now we'll see the classification. The classification of this we'll see here. Canis familiaris. In the Canis familiaris, observe here. Canis familiaris belongs so cat also having same type of classification. Observe here, the scientific name of cat is Felis domestica. Felis domestica. It belongs to kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, order same Carnivora, but family Felidae. Okay, Felis domestica, cat. Felis domestica, cat. So, what is the systematic position of cat? Same. Kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, order Carnivora, family Felidae. This three changes. Family Felidae, right? And what is genus? Felis. What is species? Domestica. Family Felidae. Like that, you will write for many animals. For example, if you see Felis leo or Panthera leo. Panthera leo is the scientific name of lion. Panthera tigris. For that also, we will write same. So for Panthera leo and Panthera tigris and Panthera pardus, for tiger, lion, and cheetah, all these are common up to family and also up to genus. All are same except species. So Felis leo, that is lion, kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, order Carnivora, family Felidae, and after that genus Felis, species Leo. Here only if we'll write tigris, there is a classification of tiger. If we'll write here pardus, that is a scientific name of scientific or that is a classification of cheetah. Did you get? So here, how to classify the organisms by using these 7 obligatory categories which we learned in the taxonomical hierarchy. Okay. So by using these 7 obligatory categories, we will provide a systemic position or we will arrange the organisms in a systematic manner. Okay. That will make the study of that organisms in a easy and scientific manner. With the help of these classifications, we can study the organisms in very easy manner within a short period of time. And that will avoid the confusion if there is no proper classification or if there is no systematic arrangement of organisms. There are a huge variety and huge number of organisms are there. We cannot be able to study. Okay. So a scientific classification or providing a systematic position for every living organism is required that will make the study of that organism very easily within a short period of time. Okay, right? That is about 3 animals I gave here. 3 animals and their respective classifications, and even Felis domestica you will write. Okay, Panthera leo, Panthera tigris, Panthera pardus, all that classifications also you may write here, right? So after completion of that, next classification here, animal classifications, examples over. Now plant classifications. The well-known Mango. What is the scientific name of mango? Mangifera indica. Mangifera indica. Mangifera indica is the scientific name of mango. So mango is a plant, so it will belong to which kingdom? It belongs to kingdom Plantae. So now I am going to write the classification of mango here. That belongs to kingdom Plantae. Kingdom Plantae. Kingdom Plantae. And after kingdom, for plants, which we have to use? We have to use division instead of phylum. We have to use here division. So mango belongs to which division? It belongs to division Angiospermae. Angiospermae. It belongs to division Angiospermae. And after division, the next is class. What is the class of this? It is Dicotyledonnae. It belongs to class Dicotyledonnae. Dicotyledonnae. It belongs to class Dicotyledonnae. And after class, what is the order? It belongs to order Sapindales. It belongs to order Sapindales. And the family, here the family Anacardiaceae. 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 The family Anacardiaceae. And you all know that the genus and species. The genus is Mangifera. The species is Indica. So here Indica, that you should notice here. Mangifera indica. So it is the classification of mango or Mangifera indica by using taxonomical hierarchy or 7 obligatory categories of taxonomical hierarchy. Next, after that, one more plant according to your syllabus, that is wheat. The classification of wheat. Wheat. The scientific name of wheat is the scientific name Triticum aestivum. Triticum aestivum. Triticum aestivum. So, with no doubt, it belongs to kingdom Plantae. Kingdom Plantae. And after the division is same like Mangifera indica, that is Angiospermae. Angiospermae. And a class Monocotyledonnae. Class Monocotyledonnae. Order Poales. Order Poales. Next family Poaceae. Poaceae. The family is Poaceae. The family is Poaceae. Next, you know, genus Triticum and species Aestium. Triticum Aestium. So that is the classification of wheat. Classification of wheat. So I gave you some animal classifications and plant classifications here, mainly according to your syllabus. What they mentioned mainly in your syllabus, that only I gave. Some extra also I gave in animals, but observe here, it is a classification of Mangifera indica by using 7 obligatory categories. It's a classification of wheat, that is Triticum Aestium, by using 7 obligatory categories. And we discussed about the classification of Musca domestica, that is housefly, and also we discussed the systematic position of man, Homo sapien, and we discussed about the classification of Canis familiaris, that is dog, and also cat, tiger, lion, and cheetah, all that classifications which are very closely related animals. So classifications up to their family level almost same in that animals. So that is clear about taxonomical categories. The third topic in this chapter we discussed taxonomical categories. So once we should recall what are the topics we discussed in this chapter up to now. Up to now, the first topic in this chapter we discussed is what is living. What is living? In that, what are the characteristic features of living organisms we discussed, and which are defining properties and which are non-defining properties, that also we discussed. After completion of that, we discussed the second topic, that is the diversity in the living world. In that, we discussed about taxonomy, systematics, taxon, and what are the basic steps required for the classification of organisms. In that, we discussed characterization, identification, nomenclature, classification, etc. In that, we discussed about binomial nomenclature and what are the universal rules of binomial nomenclature also we discussed. And after completion of that, the third topic in this chapter we discussed is the taxonomical categories and taxonomical hierarchy. So in the taxonomical categories, we discussed about 7 obligatory categories from kingdom to species. At last, after completion of taxonomical categories, we discussed about some examples and how to write the classification or how to classify the animals and plants by using these 7 taxonomical categories that we discussed. Still one more topic is there in this chapter, that is the taxonomical aids. Taxonomical aids are tools of classification. Tools of classification are taxonomical aids, but by recent proceedings of CBSE, the board, okay, CBSE board, they temporarily removed the topic taxonomical aids or taxonomical, that is the tools of classification. But in our state, it is not yet finalized whether that will be there or that will be temporarily removed. It is not yet decided. Because of that, we will discuss that topic also. If it will be there, again, if we will come back and discuss, you cannot able to understand. Now only we will continue. If it is not there in our syllabus, it is not a problem, because you will get a knowledge about that, right? So we will continue the topic also. But according to CBSE board, the topic is temporarily removed. For this year only, they removed. In the process of reducing syllabus, they removed that. Now we will start the topic, that is taxonomical aids. The last topic in this chapter, taxonomical aids. Taxonomical aids. Okay, actually, taxonomical aids. So here, these taxonomical aids are considered as a tools of classification. We should consider these taxonomical aids as a tools of classification of organisms. Tools of classification of organisms. These are tools of classification of organisms. See, any technique or any procedure or any preserved material which is useful for the classification of organisms is known as taxonomical aid. So, any technique or any procedure or any principles or any preserved information or any preserved materials or any book or even any TV channel which you are watching, for example, in Discovery Channel. Okay, if you will see a particular animal or a particular program, with the help of that program, if you will identify and classify an organism with that knowledge, what is the tool of your classification, the channel, the TV channel? If you will read an article in a paper with the help of that knowledge, if you will classify the organisms, what is the tool you are using for the classification of organisms? That is that newspaper. By reading a book, if you will get a knowledge to classify the organisms, if that is useful for the classifying of organisms, that is your taxonomical aid. So, what is a taxonomical aid? Anything which is useful for the classification of organisms, or anything which will provide a knowledge to classify the organisms. So either it is a book, or it is a channel, or it is a paper, or it is any technique, or it is any principle, or it is any procedure, or even it is any information or any preserved or stored information. If that is useful for you to classify the organisms, that is considered as a taxonomical aid. So what is taxonomical aid? Very simple, ma. Whatever the things that will provide a knowledge for the classification of organisms, or that is useful for the classification of organisms, is known as taxonomical aid. So for example, if you will visit a zoo nearby you, by observing various animals in that, you will get a knowledge to classify the organisms based on their external morphology, that is external characters, and based on their food habits, etc. If you classify the organisms, which is your tool of classification, which is useful for you to classify the organism, that is a zoo. So that zoo is considered as a taxonomical aid. If you visit a museum nearby you, if that museum is useful to you to classify the organisms, which is your taxonomical aid, that is museum. If you go to a forest, by observing various plants in that forest, if you get a knowledge to classify the plants based on their height, or based on the color of flowers, okay, or based on their size, so that forest will provide a knowledge to you to classify the organisms. So what is your taxonomical aid? That is nothing but the forest. So what is a taxonomical aid? I mentioned here tools of classification. Tools of classification. So this tool may be any technique or any principle or any procedure or any preserved information, or even a TV channel or a radio program or a newspaper, whatever that. If that will provide a knowledge, or if that will give an useful information to classify the organisms, that is considered as a taxonomical aid. So taxonomical aid, for example, if I will teach you about the classification, how to classify the mammalians based on their external features and based on their reproductive properties, how to classify this, how to classify the mammals, if I will give you that information, if I will teach you that information, with the help of that information, if you will classify the organisms, if that information or if that class or the teaching, if that will be useful for the classification of organisms, so who is your taxonomical aid? Who is your tool of classification? That is your teacher, who will provide you the valuable information for the classification of organisms. So whatever the things or whatever the material, if that is useful for the classification of organisms, or if that will provide a knowledge about the classification of organisms, with the help of which a person can classify the organisms, that is known as taxonomical aid. So I'm going to give you a simple definition. Write down a simple definition. Maybe you got what is the taxonomical aid. If you know what is taxonomical aid, write in your own words what is taxonomical aid. So here, what is the taxonomical aid? Any technique or principle or procedure, any technique, principle, procedure, material and preserved or stored information useful for classification of organisms. So anything, irrespective of this, any material or any information or any source, if that is useful for the classification of organisms, that we can consider as a taxonomical aid. No need to confuse. Very simple. Whatever the source, that if that will provide information about the classification of organisms, if that is useful for the classification of organisms successfully, that is known as the taxonomical aid. So here, any technique or principle or procedure or material or preserved or stored information useful for classification of organisms. Useful for classification of organisms is known as taxonomical aid. Taxonomical aid, right? So aid is singular, AIDS is plural. You know, it is not that AIDS. That is a variant disease. So at the time of writing HIV/AIDS, you have to use all capital letters. But here, except first, you are using small letters. That you have to notice, right? Now, after completion of this definition, there are many sources that will provide information, that will provide a valuable information which is useful for the classification of organisms. But which are the commonly using taxonomical aid? Which are popular taxonomical aids that have been used by human? So which are the taxonomical aids, main taxonomical aids that have been used by human being? Okay. Now I will give you some important taxonomical aids. According to your syllabus, some taxonomical aids which have been used by human being in the classification of organisms. Okay. In the part of that, the first one is herbarium. Next to herbarium, botanical garden. Botanical gardens. The third, museum. The fourth, zoological parks or zoos. Zoological parks or zoos. Zoos or zoological parks. Keys. Key also one of the important taxonomical aid, that is key. Next, manuals. Monograph. Catalogs. This catalog. and even flora. So these are some commonly using or most popular taxonomical aids which have been using by human being. So the important taxonomical aids I provided here, I wrote here all you should observe here. So all this will provide an information which is useful for the classification of organisms. This will help in the classification of organisms. By using all this, we can classify the organisms. So what I gave, the definition there, whatever the substance or whatever the material, if that will provide an information about the classification of organisms, or if that is useful for the classification of organisms, we can call that as a taxonomical aid. Taxonomical aid. According to your syllabus, what are the taxonomical aids here? Herbarium, botanical garden, museum, zoological park or zoo, key, manual, monograph, catalog, and flora. Catalog and flora are the important taxonomical aids. Okay. Now we will discuss about this. So we will discuss about this. In this class, I will just brief about this. In next class, we will discuss the detailed information of all this. First, we will see herbarium. Herbarium is a storehouse of plant materials or plant specimens. So, herbarium will provide the information mainly for the classification of plants, not for any animals. So, herbarium is taxonomical aid which is useful for the classification of only plants, not animals. That you should notice here. What is this herbarium? Very simple one. So, in this herbarium, the important or rare species of plants will be collected, and that plant material will be dried and pressed. Okay, that will be pressed. After drying, that will be pressed. So, this dried and pressed plant material will be pasted on a sheet, a herbarium sheet. So, for example, if there is a herbarium sheet, if you want to prepare a herbarium for a plant in your garden, if there is a plant, if you want to prepare a herbarium for that, first you have to buy an herbarium sheet. It is about 30 to 45 centimeters in its length and width. So width is 30 centimeters, length is 45 centimeters. So after collecting that part of a plant, so whatever the part you will collect from a plant, you must have to notice the presence of flower or inflorescence. So you have to collect a branch of a plant or a total plant. Okay. Otherwise, a small branch of a plant with its inflorescence or with a flower. And after collection of that plant material, you have to press that material. Okay, by using presses or simply by keeping in your books. If you keep a leaf in your book, what will happen? After some months, it will be completely dry now. Like that, you have to press and automatically it will be dry. So this dried and pressed plant material should be pasted on this herbarium sheet. Okay. So this dried and pressed plant material, that is a plant specimen, will be pasted on the herbarium sheet. At right corner, at lower right corner, there is a board. Sorry, there is a table where they will provide space to write the taxonomical position of that particular plant. So you have to write the classification of that plant by using seven taxonomical categories or obligatory categories. You have to provide the classification or systemic position of that plant. So that is herbarium. Very simple. So herbarium is a storehouse of dried and pressed plant specimens. A storehouse of dried and pressed plant specimens. In this herbarium, we will preserve some millions of rare species. If that species will be that species will be extincted in the future, what will happen? If this information will be available, based on that, we can able to study the plant even if it will be extincted. Okay, so the information of plant will be stored in the form of a herbarium. Okay, what are the uses of this herbarium and how to prepare an herbarium? All that we will discuss in next class. Botanical garden, it is a huge space or a small space where different species of plants are planted that are collected from various locations or various habitats, and that will be protected in a restricted area. Botanical garden is a place where different species of plants, especially the rare species of plants, will be collected from various habitats or various locations or various areas, and that will be planted in that particular area, and that will be protected by human. Okay, so here botanical garden. Actually, botanical garden is a part of in our culture, in Indian culture. If you observe the ancient houses in India, in every house there is a small garden. Even if you observe your house or nearby you, there are a small garden. In that garden, some flowering plants, some for flowers, and some plants for the fruits, or even some vegetable plants like that. They are cultivating. So here, botanical garden is just a place where different plants which are collected from various locations will be placed. Okay, in our botanical garden, actually we are cultivating or we are planting the useful plants only, but the rare plants, the medicinal plants should be placed in the botanical gardens, that will be protected by human activities. Otherwise, that will be extincted because their populations are very less. And after that, museum, in the museum, mainly the animal specimens will be preserved. In the animal specimens or spotters will be preserved. So the body of an animal will be preserved in preservatory fluids like formalin or chloroform, that body of a frog or body of a fish or body of any animal after its death, or that will be specified by giving chloroform or any anesthetic products, that will be prepared, and that specimen will be placed in the museums. And zoological parks, it is also related to animals, but here all live animals. Here in museum, all the died animals. Okay, but here animals are alive in zoological park that are collected from various locations that will be kept, and all requirements of that animals will be provided by man. So the animals are under the care and control of man. And key is just like a multiple choice questions. See, by using this key, we will open the lock of classification. In this key, there are some statements. Every statement have two alternative options. We should select one and we should leave one. Like that, manual, monograph, catalog, and flora, all that we have to discuss. We will discuss about all that in next class. We will discuss about all this in next class in detail. Thank you.